Thank you so much for having me today. It's an incredible audience to be out here with all of you. As she mentioned, I grew up in a small town in Northern California and had big dreams and aspirations as a young child to see the world. I love to travel. I love coming to places like beautiful Oslo. But as a young kid, I didn't know necessarily how to get there. Did I want to be a doctor? Did I want to go down that path? So I decided that the best way to fuel my curiosity for the world was to join a corporation. And so I did just that. As you'll see here on this slide, this is showcasing the town that I grew up in, which is, as I mentioned, in Northern California, which is a small mountain town. But how do I get from a small mountain town to a corporation? So I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to join Intel. And for those that may know, Intel is a semiconductor chip manufacturer which fuels things such as computers and cell phones. But what many people don't know is that Intel is founded and built on a culture of equality. Everyone in the organization is treated equally, from the CEO all the way down to an intern like myself. And this fuel of equality was so foundational to my career because it enabled me to think bigger and bolder. At the time, the company was having to make huge headcount reductions in order to reduce costs. Laying off 20,000 people is no easy effort. And I thought to myself, there has to be a better way. In studying environmental economics, at a time when environment was not top of concern about 15 years ago, I thought to myself, how can we take recycled chips and turn them into solar technology? And I did just that. Now, because of this project and initiative, Intel is one of the greenest companies in the world because they took an idea from an intern, from a 20-year-old, and said, she has a great idea, we are going to support her. This was foundational in my career because it gave me the confidence, it gave me the ability to think bigger around how can I drive impact in the world through a global company. Fast forward, I joined Microsoft 11 years ago. And taking this principle around equality, tied with Microsoft's mission, which is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Satya Nadella, our CEO, came in and said, I want to transform the culture of Microsoft and enable people to think bigger with this concept of a growth mindset. Now, at this time, I had my first child, and in 2014, my husband and I decided to have our second child. And while working at Microsoft through a big, large corporation, we also discovered that my son, while I was pregnant, would not be able to survive without medical intervention. Now, this is a very challenging circumstance to endure, but Microsoft supported me throughout the process. And I was fortunate enough to meet a medical professional who was able to bring my son to life with less than a 2% chance of survival. My son is now 5 years old and here today. Thank you. But I made this commitment to him and to my family that I said, he's alive, he's here because of the ability to detect early while I was pregnant that there was something not right, and that's due to technology. And so I thought to myself, how can I take my role at Microsoft, which is the leading industry in the world, and take that and help my son today? And I did just that. So let me play a video to tell my quick story with all of you. In 2014, my husband and I discovered that we were having our second child. At 12 weeks pregnant, we found out that he had less than a 2% chance of survival due to a condition called posterior urethral valves.
It's often missed, but if you've got qualified people who know what they're doing looking at the images, then you can pick it up early.
If I had been in a town I grew up in, which is rural Redding, California, this would never have been discovered and my son would not be here today.
I think everybody knows that in healthcare there's a huge need for innovation.
When I heard Melissa's story, I got really motivated because I've been working with Microsoft Cognitive Services Custom Vision. Computer vision is essentially computers recognizing objects, but using machine learning to make that easy. I took Melissa's story and an x-ray that has the syndrome. I hold up the x-ray and boom, it nails it. I hold up a normal x-ray and boom, it nails it with lightning speed, and this is pennies.
We have to be really competitive, and when we can go in and bid with Azure, it helps cut down the time it takes to build these solutions and therefore the cost.
From the engineering standpoint, the services offered in Azure help us build, end-to-end solutions that use everything from ingestion of data from IoT services, and then we comb all that data out of storage and shove it into machine learning.
And seeing this technology for the first time, it opened my eyes around the possibilities of people being in a similar situation like me that can ultimately save their children and have the betterment that they can get early intervention.
We want to do things around machine learning, AI, around mixed reality solutions. And so there's a whole suite of applications blooming out there and hardware and technologies that we can leverage from Microsoft to do that.
So I think the value of this type of technology is remote centers where perhaps there is no physician reading an ultrasound to screen ultrasounds and pick up common abnormalities.
The vision of the company has morphed with the technology. This company is founded and based on engineers that are proud of what they do, and more times than not, it's done on the Azure platform.
We say we deliver the art of software. It's a little hard to predict where the technology world will be in 10 years, but we will be right there with the cutting edge.
Thank you so much. I'm humbled to share my story with you. Well, that was 2 years ago. My son is now thriving and doing well. Well, he does have special needs. He now has autism. We're using technology to advance his growth. And this story has inspired companies around the world. We're now using this technology to detect cancer. And in the US, we're actually able to apply this to our military and hopefully be able to save lives. Now, this is all enabled because these two companies supported me throughout my career, because they treated me with equality, because they empowered me. I'm here today to tell you my story. So what I would ask is, for all of you, it starts with action. You have the opportunity to drive impact in the world, no matter who you are in an organization. And leadership has such amazing ability to really drive cultural transformation. I'll end with my favorite quote from Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in the world, because all of us can be that change. My name is Melissa Mulholland, and it's been a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you.